It's another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your crumpets together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling. Hello. Hello to all of my tea sippers, my crumpet dunkers, my tea brewers, my pot stirrers, my tea leaf readers, my tea baggers, and my tea biscuits. What's up? What's your tea, darlings? It's another glorious day, honey. I know you got all of your crumpets together because why don't you know it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. What's tea, baby? What's up? Oh, dear mercy, honey. Listen, it's been a very interesting last 7 days. Okay. Oh, let's see. We were here with y'all. We were here with y'all last week. My days are running together because I have been at the donut factory. Y'all see I'm still in uniform, right? I have been at the donut factory so long to where this bitch, honey, is probably ingrained in my skin. Oh. Okay. We have folks get ill and carry it on. I'm the only somebody in my department that works all 3 shifts. And trying to get my other coworker, honey, to come in and to help out and to assist was a little difficult. So that left me. So this past Monday, when I went to work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, $1,500 is when I clocked in. I did not get back home to 39.6 until Thursday, this past Thursday, 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So, and then after I got home, I had to be back to work this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning because of a little do-I-diddy. Okay. So, honey, it has just been a whole bunch. I have just been at the donut factory and all of those things. So it's a very, very interesting 7 days. I want to shout out in the city of College Park. I want to shout out my sister friend, honey, Mayor Pro Tem for 2025, and the Councilwoman Jamel McKenzie. I'm shouting her out here because tomorrow, June 28th, 2025, honey, is the 2nd annual Springo Bingo. Okay, for the senior citizens. And a senior is considered anybody 55 and over. Yes, I done made the cut, Chad. I'm a senior citizen. Can you stand it? But it's bingo, and it's free to all the residents of the city of College Park. And I want to shout her out because she chose me to be the lovely old hostess with the mostest, baby. So we did it last year, honey. The children enjoyed themselves immensely. And so she said, Meech, are you on board? I said, oh, most definitely, darling. So tomorrow I'm going to go do my thing over there And I'm gonna get my Detroit on, honey, because I know I got my little outfits, honey. We're gonna change clothes and do all the things, honey. Let them have it a little bit and call it a day. So I want to shout that out for those of you who are in the College Park, Georgia area. We're going to be at the College Park Auditorium. It's been named, and I can't think of the name right now, but it's the building right next door to or adjacent to the College Park City Hall. Okay, so you guys come on through and come have a good time with us. Okay, it starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. So tomorrow, 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. I believe. We will be there, and it's going to be lots of fun. We got lots and lots and lots of prizes that we're going to be. You get a chance to win, and they're going to feed you, honey. They got food and carry on. Thank you to the Granville Group, who was our sponsor for that particular thing. Granville Group is one of our businesses in College Park, and they are attorneys at law. I believe they specialize in personal injury and those kind of things, honey. But Granville Group, honey, will be our grand old sponsor for Springo Bingo, honey. So come on out and have a good time with us, okay? So we're going to get into everything and get into the thing the way that we do. You ready? You need a minute. All right, I'm waiting on you. Okay, well, all right. Damn,
Don't worry about what I'm doing.
I ain't worried. Shit, I'm just trying to say, hey, making sure you good and shit, and shit.
What's happening? What's happening? You have to learn to ignore Skittle Man over here.
There you go.
Okay, you have to ignore Skittle Man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta walk through the hand to the rainbow. But
You know what?
I whatever.
You know what?
Whatever. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned.
This man, he tickles me. Y'all know that. He just tickled the hell out
My
of me.
fruit snacks are made by mom. Now, what I'm saying is, today we're going to get into something. We're going to get down and dirty. I'm going to step on a few toes. Possibly a few feet.
By mods.
At the end of the day, I want you all to tune in. I want you to get involved because your opinion matters. And sometimes my thoughts are not your thoughts, and your thoughts are not my thoughts, but they're somebody else's. So let's heal the world one gesture at a time.
All right. Well, with that being said, okay, you know what? Perfect segue. Thank you, sir. Okay. Listen, this is going to get heavy. Okay. This is going to get heavy. So all of you who are listening in right now, I'm going to encourage you to go get your friends, call up somebody, tell them to come in on this because I want all of you guys to be very interactive with this.
And especially the single parents. I really want your opinions on this.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. God. Okay. Yes. And what are we talking about tonight? Do you want to know? Tonight's show is called Your Kids Are Not Your Damn Friends. Can I say that one more time? Your kids are not your damn friends.
Not even a little bit.
Okay. So what do you mean by that, Big Meech, the T-Master?
What up, Buck?
Okay, what do you mean? Hey, folks are coming up in here. You got Tracy. Hey, Trace. Okay, Big Buck is up in here. What's up? Okay, I'm here, but I'm big time multitasking tonight. Okay, that's cool. Listen, if you go over to your thing, honey, and look at your message. If you want to come in, I sent you the link, Buck, if you got time. Here is where this is because right now we're constantly engulfed in conversation and things of that nature. And he shared with me some things, as a parent, Just that another about what it is to parent and carrying on. And I shared back with him some some observations. And I'm like, okay, now I need you to look at this from this particular point. All right. And then it had me to reflect on my own relationship with my father. Okay. I had one, it was different with my mother. Okay, because my mother was the custodial parent, right? So my relationship was different with mama because we were always in communication and carrying on. As the firstborn and who was helping to raise my siblings and things of that nature, it also gave me a sense of responsibility. And in some instances, I took liberties, and I'm going to say entitlement, because I thought that because I had X, Y, and Z responsibilities or whatever, I had a familiarity with my mother. You know what I mean? And in some regards, child, I stepped over a boundary or two because, when she would have gentlemen callers call the house, whatever, bitch, Demetrius was in his feelings all day. Who was this? And my mother stood up there. She said, okay, little nigga.
Everybody ain't your friend.
You forgot. You are the child. I am the parent, and everything up in here is what I do to make happen.
And that was the first time you cut your pearls.
And okay. And it had me, and yeah, it took me aback, honey, because I was like, oh, girl, wait a minute, right? But then.
Well, you just said something. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay.
You don't know. One single word can trigger.
Right, okay. But then I had to sit back and take that tongue lashing, okay, and thank God it was just a tongue lashing, because usually at that point, my mother, she didn't spank us when we got big, honey. She didn't spank us anymore. My mother went and she would jab us, okay. And when I tell you she was quick with the right hand,
quick with it, right?
Oh, baby, ooh, okay. So it brings me to this, because my relationship with my father is a little different. Okay. My relationship with my father, number one, as us being grown men, I could talk to my father a little bit differently. See, I could cuss it, with my dad if I'm in conversation, and I tested the waters, because I started off with a damn hell, here and there. But then as one day I got to tell the story, and I was like, but shit, and I'm here, and I'm in it. And my father didn't correct it. Right. So I'm like, oh shit. Okay. As an adult, now I'm at a point to where, okay, well, look, this is where we are. You're an adult man, I'm an adult man. We're learning each other as adults, and etc. However, I'm not crazy enough to want to get up, to want to challenge my daddy. All right. Regardless of how I felt he was not there when I was a kid and this, that, and the other, he's still my dad. Right. And because he's still my dad, there's just certain things I would not do, in order to challenge him or challenge his authority or this, that, and the other. Right. Even in having conversation with him, I'm talking man to man. So, if I was in a man, dad, I'm like, I consider that, say, dad, I was like, well, fuck this shit, and my dad, he was like, oh, yeah, son, and we're there because we like men talking in a locker room or talking about our bad days or whatever. It has never been. No, I'm gonna say never, because when we had our pickle squeeze, we did that, and I did challenge him because I was going to take that ass whooping, but at that point, that was a little different, and it needed to happen. But we have, I have never gone to him like I'm going to check him. You know what I'm saying? I have never stepped to my father, except for the pickle squeeze day, okay, in that way that, okay, oh nigga, I can take you. I've never done that.
That's not a good idea, people.
Okay. And this whole conversation comes to how parents have allowed themselves to want to be friends with their kids. Mothers, a lot of single mothers out there, you have all these damn babies, and I'm saying it like that because, okay, it is what it is. If you don't like it, tough. You have all these babies. Some of you have got addicted to having babies. Y'all remember the movie, The Women of Brewster Place? And Phyllis Yvonne Stickney, honey, she was always having babies. But she said, when they're little, they're so small and tiny and they smell good. And, she was fascinated with the baby because she treated the baby like baby dolls. But then they became grown, they're growing up and now they're little hellions and you don't know what to do with them, But some of you feel as though you're supposed to be friends with your kids. Like everything that they do, you're not supposed to chastise them or whatever. You're sitting up there trying to have relationships with their friends. Yes, I get it and I understand it. And I know sometimes it's age related and this, that, and other, but I still have a problem with folks who smoke weed and shit with their kids. Now that's just a personal thing. And that's because of how I was raised. My Esther Lorraine, we don't party with our children. Okay. And my mother came to my house and she know I'm in the midst of everything. My mother has come to my house and I've taken a can of beer. I'm doing my thing on my car. And I would put it behind my back. Right. Just to and she came to my house. Right. But the drink went behind my back as respect to my mother. Okay. Now she see the atmosphere and see what's going on and carrying on or whatever. So she make her visit as quickly as possible. Okay. But I'm a chip off the block. So my mama get nosy from time to time to see what the hell it is going on. Okay. And then when she leave, then I'll bring my drink back, and sip and carry it on. I didn't cuss with my mother. And when mama came in the house, I had everybody, hey, mama here, and it was that kind of thing. Dad, on the other hand, my daddy has never come to my house. Okay, wait a minute. Let me look at that. Has daddy ever come over to any of my residences? He's dropped me off. He's never come inside. Is that right? Maybe once. But I forget what house it is because okay. But that is that, okay? But a lot of us, we want to be friends with our kids. How those of you who got kids and you don't want to be addressed as mama or daddy in public. Okay, for those of you who let your kids call you by your first name, did you know? Ooh, that's another one of the personal ones.
Now, see, that's now I have to come in on that.
Come in.
Because my father's entire life, I call him Ronnie.
Okay.
His birth name was Ronald Hill.
Uh-huh.
But that was something that was family oriented, and it was okay. It wasn't like, hey, Ron, what's happening, or Ron, let me holler at you for a minute.
And that's where I'm going. Go right there.
It was just Ronnie, and the whole family say Ronnie. So everybody, you know what I'm saying.
And it flew off like that.
Because like my grandmother, we never called her, my father's mother, we never called her granny, grandma, or nothing like that. It was Irma.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now, my grandfather, of course,
it
was Big Daddy, and everybody knew him as Big Daddy, and that's what the hell you better say out your mouth.
Okay.
Okay, because if you walk back there and say William, you love subject to lose your teeth.
Right. Hello.
Right.
Okay. Right. Dig it.
My auntie Laverne, you know what I'm saying? It was Laverne. Stanley was Stanley, you know what I'm saying? Now, when you're trying to doggone kiss up and get something as a child, you add the uncle or the aunt on the front of it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But now my mama, you couldn't pay me to say Karen.
Okay. What you say?
They don't make that kind of money.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
They ain't even printed that yet.
Right.
And she gone.
Right.
They ain't
Okay.
even printed that yet. But yeah, I could see now growing up. Karen, you hear what I said?
Ooh.
Nigga, I done saw my shoulder blades. No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
My whole head would got knocked around the back. But you got to understand this. These people today are itching for people to their kids to get to a certain age, like that age. I'm like they like the 21st birthday thing.
Yeah.
So you can hit the club with them and drink
Yeah.
with them.
Yes.
And my thing is this. I don't mind being in a celebratory spirit with you because you becoming into that part of adulthood on that particular day or that particular event. But everything after that, no.
Right.
No.
Right. Okay.
That's my
now.
I'm celebrating your passage into adulthood.
The rite of passage kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? I toast with you on that night.
Right.
You're legally grown, and that's the decision you're making as a grown person.
Right.
I'm not giving you something underage.
Right.
You understand? So, but anytime after that, if I get dressed the next weekend and I'm ready to hit the club, don't run and put your clothes on.
Right.
You're not going.
You know what? Wait a minute. It's the way how you fucking said that just got me in my feelings.
Right.
Okay. It's the way how you said that that got me in my feelings. Let me do this because I want to set a precedent because I know I said that what I said, as far as parents allowing their kids to call them by their first name, but you said something that was that way, and that there is when the precedent was set. Okay, it was that way, and it wasn't done in a way like you're stepping to them as if you're equals. You know what I'm saying? I know folks, and it bothered me that they would call their parents by their first name, whatever, and they would treat each other like their girlfriends.
Like
I mean,
not too long ago, I was in a blood curdling situation. When a daughter called her mother girl, walking in the door, greeting her as gesture like, "Hey girl."
Right. Right.
And had been doing it before 18 and was doing it after that because you're in the comfort zone. Me personally, the first time you've done it, you should be doggone regenerating a tongue because I just snatched your tongue out your mouth.
Okay. I'm there, and here's the thing, and I want y'all to weigh in on this because there's a number of dynamics that go into this. And I'm gonna start with the parents first because it's easy to start with us because my question becomes, where did we lose it? Because a lot of this, now we talking about when we were growing up, and I'm hearing folks that did that, and my mother cringed, honey. She was like, "Oh no, you would never call me by my name." Okay, never. Because I am not your equal. I am not on the same level of you, honey. You respect my title with everything that I have gone through to make sure that you got a life. Oh no, I'm not. And anytime I've had to call my mother by her name, it was to get her attention because we were across the room. Or my mother and I we were in downtown Detroit. We were in Rite Aid when it was Rite Aid. Mama is over after she getting her a soda, and I'm sitting there, Mama, the girl ain't paid me no man, honey, right?
Right.
Ain't paid me no man. And then when I said Lorraine, and of course I said it because I knew that was going. When she heard my voice, she immediately, because she know my voice, right? I saw the hairs on her back stand up, right? As she turned around, I said, "Mama, wait. I just had to get your attention."
You know what I would have done? Huh? I would have did just like this. Lorraine.
Right.
I would have looked behind myself.
But
Like somebody else called her.
But then she told me, she said, I said, when I was calling you, I said, you wasn't, she said, boy, she said, we in downtown Detroit. Do you know how we supposed to holler mama out here? I had to learn how to block that out because that ain't my business. I said, well, then you can't be mad at me because I'm trying to get your attention.
While they yelled out Lorraine and turned looked over my shoulder. Well, I looked back at her like,
Okay.
you heard it too?
So, but that there was that. But here is where, why is it that we feel the need to want to be our kids' friends? Is it discipline?
Nope.
Are we afraid to discipline our children? Are we afraid that our children are not going to like and love us anymore?
Yeah.
Are we afraid that we're going to lose their respect or whatever?
Yeah.
Whatever the hell, whatever all that is. Why is it that you believe that parents feel as though they're supposed to be friends with their children? Particularly coming from an era, this whole friend thing didn't start until I'm gonna say when I noticed it. I noticed it in my generation when there were certain kids when they became teenagers and they were able to have an opinion, right? So now we got some mothers who were wanting to be good girlfriends with their kids because it was a thought process of, well, if I befriend them, they'd be wanting to talk to me, because a lot of this was supposed to be a strategic tool because parents weren't talking to kids and this, that, and other. So, we're talking about sex and all this, that, and other. So they were using it that way. What you got?
A strategic tool is a good piece of leather. Okay, that's a strategic tool. I'm here and it didn't bother me. Okay, and I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you, because at the end of the day, like you said, back in that same time era,
yeah,
I noticed it when they started smoking a joint. They wasn't blunting up.
Yeah,
they were smoking a joint with their
joints.
parents.
Yeah,
or have a beer with their son.
Ooh,
and that right there, a child mind, you're even in the playing field when you're doing that. You feel me?
Right.
You kind of making them feel like, oh, okay, I'm getting up there where I can say what I want to say around here. And that's, I believe that came before what you said. Opinions were formulated after that.
Okay. Give it to me.
That built up to an opinion, because what it was, you got to remember, I've seen this with my own eyes, the testing of people, the ones that were older than me. I've seen them as teenagers where the parents sitting around smoking a joint, right? Because you know how they didn't care back then, right? Because DFACs wasn't coming over,
right?
They didn't even exist,
right?
So here it is. You would see the parent do the test to the teenager,
right?
Puff pass,
right?
And the teenager done felt tough enough to be like, oh, okay, mama, and hit it. What you just did was raise them up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after 2 or 3 times of different sessions, next thing you know, it's going to be, well, mama, I don't think you should go out with that dude.
Right.
Mama, I don't think you know what I'm saying? Or mama, you don't really know what you're talking about. You don't fix your mouth to be able to say that kind of stuff.
Ooh.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Or mama, you don't understand. I'm going anywhere.
Oh God. Oh, flashback shit.
Those things right there was where the cutoffs was, and your child run away. And it's really worse with mama to daughter, because she run away because you done built this doggone passage of friendship, but you don't want to connect the two worlds. You don't want to connect that to what's going on now.
Right.
She runs away that weekend because you won't let her go to a specific party. You in an uproar of pain because she's a young lady on the street.
Mm-hmm.
When she does return home, it does not get any better as far as what's going on. It gets worse because now your new bonding process is allowing her to possibly be on your level.
Right.
Allowing her, you're no longer enforcing the curfew. You no longer, you know what I'm saying, you making her comfortable about niggas she talking to on the phone. Excuse me. Niggas, ninjas, they all in the dark. But anyway, what I'm saying, but like you're not, you know what I'm saying, you're not enforcing it because you on the phone, like, girl, who you talking to? Mama, this boy, is he cute? You
Right there.
Right there.
Woo. Woo.
Right there.
Woo. Now, okay, let me put the proviso here. Don't think we ain't gonna get on these daddies. Gotta come to the fathers.
I'm gonna crack this.
We're coming to the fathers. I don't want y'all to think that we're only getting on mothers. The thing of it is that a lot of our practices, that this kind of stuff that we're talking about here, we've seen this come from a lot more mothers. Okay, particularly that mother-daughter relationship, when they're trying to be friends and you trying to make sure that you the same size as your daughter, y'all wearing each other's clothes and all this shit. Okay,
and the daughter gets comfortable, it's gonna make your skin crawl.
Okay, what?
Walking in your room, going in your closet, and going through your stuff to use it because they feel like it. Don't ask you nothing. You just go get up one day to get our outfit and it's not there anymore because she wore it last week.
If you don't, okay, you know what?
Oh yeah, that's real.
I said I hated that when my brother did that.
That's real. That is so
real. I hated that when my brother did that.
Now you know when we were coming up, you don't walk past the threshold of your parents' bedroom because you feel like it. Let alone
her closet
or a drawer to get something, or you go even go to get a hairbrush. You need to ask to go get a hairbrush.
Right. So that there is that. Okay. But then on the daddy side of this thing, all right, there are certain things that we have allowed to become rites of passage. Okay. Like when you were talking about, you know, I'm gonna have a beer with my son and that kind of shit.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the reason I mentioned it.
Okay.
To let you know, you niggas ain't
you know, or the big, here's the big one. He is the big one that God bless it. Let me take you out to the strip club and go get you a little piece of pussy. You big enough now. Come on, let me. And
want to get you some cutty.
My daddy tried that with me. Daddy, if you watch it, I don't even know if you remember this. You should. I was 16. Yeah, I think it was 16 or 17. Daddy wanted to go out with me, right? He wanted me to hang with old pops. So now he's trying to take me to the local bar that he frequents. Okay, I'll be on East 7 Mile. Is it Russell? Okay, over there. So he goes up to the dude and was like, yo, man, look, this is my son, and you know, I just want to bring him up in here and carry on. You know, we want to just let him, you know, get his vibe together. And he was like, Larry, much as we love you, carrying on. He said, man, how old is he? He said, no, don't worry about that, because he good. And the guy said, Larry, if this man is under 21, he cannot come up in here like that because we sell alcohol and we can lose our license. And my daddy said, well, no, he ain't going to be drinking or nothing like that. I'm just trying to let him see the bitches that carrying on, that I'm trying to set him up. And the guy kept saying, you know, we can't go up in here. Now, I done got nervous as hell because, you know, you have to say I'm 16 and I'm fresh into my fabulousness, okay? And my dad is my dad, okay? And he was trying to use his persuasive because he's very persuasive. But the man was standing on the fact that I could lose my license and you're not going to fuck up my money, okay?
And
okay. But had it not been for that, I'd have got up in there, okay? Because daddy was pushing that hard. And because of that, I was having heart palpitations and stuff. My hands started sweating. Because I'm like, and I had not told my daddy about me being gay at this particular point. So that's the other thing. I'm like, oh my God, this man here is trying to get me up in here. What the hell am I going to do? Okay. So
what trying to take you fishing.
Right. Okay. Knowing that I don't know nothing about the bait, honey. Okay. I'm not putting no bait on no hook.
Daddy, I'm a carnivore.
Okay. It's all protein, honey. Okay. It's all protein. Okay. So, but I use that because I know, y'all heard Boosie Badass, they done raked him across the coals because he took his sons to, young, they were preteens or whatever, took his sons to the whole house or whatever because he wanted to train them the right way. Okay. But y'all know Boosie in his head, jail traumatized him. Okay. What he saw between two guys being intimate traumatized him. And that I really believe that somebody needs to talk. I don't mean to just segue, but that traumatized him so badly to where now he wants to make sure everything about a man is a man. And so he done got raped across the coals because he did that old crazy ass shit. Taking his sons to the whole house. And we get this thing to where men start thinking that because I'm doing this with my son, okay, that it's a rite of passage. Then, oh hell. Oh, leave them alone. They're going to be all right.
I need to ask you a question.
Well.
And personally, I don't care what y'all say. Well, I'm your opinion matters. I don't know. What do you think about? No, I need you to open your mind, right? Of having a disabled child, right? A son. And a man take him to get his rocks off because that's not going to happen naturally because of his but it's something that he needs biologically.
Right.
So at that point, is he trying to make him a man or is he worried about his son's health?
Did you say his son's health? God damn it, wait a minute. Wait. You, oh shit. Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, please stop and stop again. Because you're not going to, oh, Jesus, wait a minute. I was about to say, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon and we're going to get real cute. And be like, you know what? But this fucker say, am I concerned about his health? You know what? You some motherfucker. Here we go. Now let's break this down. Let me pull my composure.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Let me pull my composure because here's what I truthfully think. Okay. Now, truthfully speaking, those who are either on the spectrum or whatever, they learn differently.
Right.
Okay. They learn differently. And just because they're on the spectrum does not mean that biology doesn't happen. Okay. So, in essence, that we hear parents who smoke with their kids when they say, oh, well, I would rather have them do it in front of me. That way I can teach them and show them and da-da-da-da-da versus them being outside and
I've heard that growing up.
Okay. But in this case,
right,
it becomes different because the dynamics are different. And especially if you're realizing that the child is no longer a child.
Right.
Okay. And is understanding what his body is doing and all this and the third. So somebody got to be there because the world gonna hurt the baby.
You got to coach.
Okay, number one. Number two, you got to make sure there's somebody there that you can trust because the dynamics are different.
Exactly.
Okay, the dynamics are different.
Let's not. Okay.
Okay.
Get the big meat out of it. Okay.
What?
Let's just I mean, let's just make it doggone black and white meat potatoes, okay?
What?
What you're saying is, it makes sense in that
instance, yeah.
Okay, all right. We ain't got to go college. You know what I'm saying? No, but I'm just saying. I just want to make sure. I want to keep it simple because everybody else thinks black and white with that. And their opinions be so strong on the black and white.
Which is why I'm breaking it down the way I'm doing, because
they still ain't gonna hear it.
They're going to. And if they don't, it's because they don't want to. Because see, breaking it down that simple ends up we end up going into gray areas.
You intellectual asshole. Simple for who?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just did an intellectual asshole move right there.
What?
Breaking it down, making it that simple. That is a messed up move to make in the United States of America. It is that simple to you because you are the one explaining it. I found out today some motherfucker older than me can't spell their name. So you just
when we break it down, where the whole thing of what you said, we need to break it down that simple.
Yeah, but that's
so
not,
folks can get it.
When you went to Diana, when you started doing that, you just sent Ray to go out in the back porch to smoke because he was blowed off. You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I get it. But
I'm just speaking from what when I come across folks like today, okay, somebody of non-pigment was about to get their face smashed in, okay, because they didn't understand where they were headed with their doggone mouth. Not understanding it because for some reason y'all think Big Red is soft. Not at all. But he was going to go to the emergency room.
Right. I sat there because
I'm just saying, and I really didn't want you to get involved because I'm telling you, these hands is crazy. These hands is crazy. But my thing was this: I gave him how many passes?
Right.
I'm only gonna give you so many passes, and then stuff's gonna start happening.
Yeah, it was when he started babbing on the table that I said, okay, this is not going to go well. And I knew it then. But no, I don't want to necessarily just take it and go so black and white like that because it leaves room for error. Because a lot of people, what they want to do is come in and only make it there. Okay. But see, what I explain is the gray.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's the gray that all the shit is. Okay. That you don't want to think about. Because see, it's easy for them to say, oh, you got to do, how you gonna sit up there and do that and this and that? You ain't no better than damn Boosie. You got mad at Boosie. What makes it different? Well, I just say
it make it a lot different.
It's a whole different thing because
the dynamics of who that child
is,
that person is, or that young adult is. That's what it is, not child, but young adult.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what makes it different.
It's different, and then because of what we're dealing with, this is a teachable moment. It becomes all of this. So yes, to say that, oh, I took my boy here, and then because I took my boy here, I know I done vetted the place, this, that, and the other. It wasn't some random little shit like.
And that's like your situation.
Yeah. Right.
Here's your situation. This is where I stand overall. The entire man, woman, child, don't matter. Boy, young man, young woman, whatever, okay? But when the world starts moving a certain way, we have to be in compliance.
Right.
So we're in the state of Georgia. You're growing at 17. A 17-year-old man-child goes to big boy prison. He does not go to the juvenile system.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So at 17, you're an adult in the state of Georgia.
That's right.
Okay. So same with females. They don't go to juvenile. They go to the big girl prison at 17. So you have to doggone sit back and get your wheels connected with what's going on today. Not 10 years ago. 10 years ago don't matter. Those type of laws change every 10, 15, 20 years. So you got to remember, so what they do with those years, they change them. They use that as what they call they use them as the, what they call it, the statute of limitations. So if it was 10 years ago, that means the statute of limitations has passed because this way forward is something else.
Exactly.
So now you're sitting here, you know, you can't. That's why I said people's opinions always be based on what they know at the time.
At the time, right?
Because right now in today's world, remember, if you do remember this growing up, I remember I used to see old heads on the corner, wine heads. They were talking, they were yelling at the young girls, you know, and they'd be like, they'd be like, what they say? 80 blind, crippling, crazy, boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Right, okay. And I used to wonder what the hell that meant, right?
Right.
But as I got older, and I started hearing it, I'm out there hustling and doing my stuff. Then I started flipping it, you know what I'm saying, on the, you know, like boom. So I started flipping the doggone 1880 or 1780, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Blind, crippled, crazy. But I was doing it in compliance based on what the law is. Nobody messes with no child.
Right.
But you're a goddamn grown motherfucker.
Right.
You're a grown motherfucker on life, and you're a grown motherfucker by state. You're a grown motherfucker by law.
Right. Right.
So that's the end of that.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, this is my cringe. Stop calling, like you meet somebody, right?
Right.
There's another, this is how you know this is what the confusion with the friends and the mama thing. You meet a young lady, and you'll be like, well, how many children you got? Just that's those initial conversations. And she'll say, oh, I got 3 kids. Oh, they're playing, oh, that's cool. I'm saying, what's the name? Oh, you talking, you know, you just having that regular conversation.
Right.
And she just told you that she had 3 kids. You asked that question because you were interested in at least taking her out to eat. Right. Or dating her, or at least becoming some type of social life with her, right? And she named you 3 motherfuckers as doctors and lawyers. Well, sorry to ask you how many kids do you have. Your response to grown motherfuckers is, I have this many children, and this is what they do, and they're wrong, or this one's married, and this and that. Children.
Right.
They will always be your children.
Right.
But they're not going to forever be your kids.
That's right. Right.
And that's where people get it twisted at. And they'll destroy a relationship or something God sent to them because of some 25, 27-year-old. Oh, I gotta run my baby. Miss Retard, let me ask you something.
Right there.
Let me ask you something right quick. You running hollering my baby to this grown heifer that made a bad life decision. The same way you run to the grown heifers that is exactly your age that made bad life decisions. Again, that's not your friend. And if you know they made a bad decision and they not nothing that's detrimental to their life or their health, then you can handle everything from right here. You running and being in the same space of the mistake, it's not going to assist the mistake.
Exactly.
You destroying stuff in your life to mend their life, and now once they're fixed, they're going to crap on you because you done lost everything you had. They don't understand these new generations are users.
All day. And
it's not, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they know they doing it. But once Uncle Sam got in your house and tried to eliminate the man, guess what? Now they become your roommates, your friends, your paychecks, your confidant.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit. That did it.
You fall out with some grown man and you want to go cry to a child.
To a child. Why does your child know all of your motherfucking business?
Mic drop.
Huh? This ain't.
Why do they even have control over your business or have an opinion about
your business?
Where
And let me get real.
Ooh, Lord,
Let me get real. How is it? Just like Lorraine checked me real quick over a phone call. How is it that you allow your child to dictate the dick or the pussy that's going to come in your bedroom?
Boom.
Yeah, I'm going to get nasty. Fuck it.
Hey.
Okay.
Do you? My name say minister. You're the tea master without the bag in your name.
Okay. Catch. Don't need a bag. Anyway, well, anywho.
He likes butter pecan without the nuts.
Mm.
It's not butter.
I can't believe it ain't butter. Anyway, when it comes down to that, you know, I'm stressing this because there's a point when we are adults, okay, and full-fledged adults. Either I'm a single adult or whatever, and I have my own life, my own career carrying on, and I go to my mother because now I'm caring for my mother or my father, and we're sitting down, Mama, what's the matter? And we're talking adult to adult. It's a whole different thing where you have run to your child because you have no adult friends, adult comrades or whatever. Your child now is the only thing or somebody who you feel you trust and blah, 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 and they have all of your information. They sit up here knowing when they know your ovulation cycle. They know this, they know that. They know how many, listen, when my mother was dating.
Well, me, I'm trying to cut you off, but there are some adult friends or best friends that don't need to know all your business because you are their age and have more than them. So you think they're going to assist you in keeping what you got or help you lose it?
Exactly.
Because they're looking at their lives like, damn, I ain't got that hard. I ain't got that high elevated. Or I don't have that much. And we come up we're the same age for the same time. Do you think they really, really, really going to help you keep it? Or they going to doggone deal with your shenanigans and elevate that and cheer you on knowing that all of your shenanigans is a failure? They're going to assist you in failing so you'll be back where they're at. Because I'm trying to tell you, 95% of the people in this world, especially in the urban communities that profess to be your best friends and friends, they are not your friend. They are not your friend, and they're your friend as long as you got what they got.
Boom.
But when you start to elevate.
Oh, now let's talk about that. Oh, let's do that right there. Elevation. And we talking about you making your kids your friends. There's a number of us who get jealous of our offspring. Okay, this is your offspring. The whole idea of parenting is what you always want the child to do better than you. So it is up to you to set the fucking bar. You set the bar, and the child you train the child how to go beyond the bar. You give them the tools and then you allow their creativity to blossom because you get to see who they are individually. Right. And you push them to be their very best. And so you set the bar, and their best is what's going to get them to be better than you because they're doing their thing.
Right.
You understand?
I always say, don't be like me, be better.
Be better than me. Okay? Now, we've allowed the friendship to come up in here, and now the child is X, Y, and Z in. But now you jealous because the child is living a life that you want to live or you thought you want to live.
Hold on. Camaraderie is a figure eight. It don't matter whether it's the male child.
I would go there.
Not only do you get jealous of the elevation of the child because you built a friendship, instead of a parentalship. It happens in reverse because the child, because they think they your friend, and develop see the mother or the father elevating, and they're destroying their lives because they want to lean into their own understanding. It's in here. NIV, it's in here. Lean not into your own understanding. Therefore, your credit wouldn't be terrible, and you would be able to get apartments, cars, and houses, and everything else at a young age.
Ooh.
But you want to lean into your understanding of scamming and destroy your credit and your banking and your life. Now you ain't worth nothing, right? You've been here 400 days with a 400 score. You got a point a day.
How about
all right? Now,
exhale.
The point is, a lot of times, and I've seen this before, the child building this friendship camaraderie with the parent, and the parent elevating, the child becomes jealous.
Yep.
And the first thing the child is doing is saying, wait a minute, I need to become destructive and shut that down. There's a lot of people suffering out here from that, from allowing the child. Now the child comes in, shuts it down, the parental stuff kicks in, and guess what kicks in? When that parental stuff kicks in, now whatever's going on with the parent, whether it's a significant other, husband, wife, whatever, you give them your ass to kiss because your best friend over here, which is your child, is the gospel that you're gonna walk by.
Can I put a proviso there?
You can put whatever you want on this thing.
I would put a proviso right there. All right. Well, another caveat. We sometimes become best friends to our children because that's the only way we know how to make up for shit that we didn't do when they were kids, or when we have postpartum depression and we think that we treated them so badly. You know, we're trying to sit down there. Oh, I want you to like me. I want you to like me. I'm not such a bad parent, and blah, 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 blah. So becoming their best friend or overcompensating, because I think that's what happens. A lot of times parents are that kind of friend to their kids because it's an overcompensation for what I didn't do or what I can't do. So me being your best friend is showing you I want to be a part of your life and showing you how I care and this, that, and the other. And what ends up happening is that we end up becoming crutches and cradles and stuff for these kids.
Say what it really is. If you put it on a scale of 100%, 75, and I'm not woman bashing, but 75% of women are more guilty of this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say 60-40. I'm more guilty of this because there's a lot less single parent men out here. And it don't even have to be in a single parent. It could be just a dominating parent in the household. You're trying to live vicariously through your children.
Yes.
And it's not a good idea. Just because you couldn't catch the touchdown pass when you were young and he can, don't make you control his destiny.
Okay.
Just because she can press and curl so good that Beyonce wants her to travel with her and you couldn't flat iron when you were coming up. Don't make that mistake of trying to be her friend because you want to be on the hair team with your daughter.
Yeah.
You know, you all have to really wake up and know that it is a very, very different world out here today. And the thought process of these other generations are crazy. There is zero respect and a whole lot of neglect in these newer generations. And what's considered normalized to them is utterly devastating to us.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
I'm not going to say we can do something today to fix it, but we can start one step at a time and address it, and hopefully a percentage of these young generations will start to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to be able to fix it because it's already destroyed, because it has become a way of life.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And the people that they choose to praise and worship when they should be praising God, Beyonce has made it okay by bringing her daughter, young self, on this stage on tour with her.
How about that?
And she up there gyrating with her mama.
Right.
So us telling them to take this path in life and seeing her take that path and get her millions before she even doggone ovulate.
Right. Because she's having even meet teens yet. She's a
We're in a
preteen.
losing battle almost, because they got visuals that's going against what we're trying to tell them.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm highlighting this. So stay in a child's place has lost all meaning in this generation of children. Exactly, because the question becomes, what exactly is a child's place?
Right. Okay, let's get it like this. There is no child's place because there is no man's place. And when you took the man's place away, you slowly disintegrated the child's place. Thank you, government. So nobody has a place or nowhere a place to be, or there's no place that a woman even understands to put you. Because they're running around here confused, talking about there's no good men. No, there's plenty of good men. The ones you wouldn't speak to and the one you went past, the one that said hello, the one that gave you the extra cash that you needed at the register when you were short and didn't ask you for your name or said hello, but you gave him your ass to kiss.
Right.
That was the good man that the Lord sent you.
Right.
But ain't none out here though.
Right. Right.
The good man that you was with that gave you the world and took you down through everything that you ever needed. I mean, just you didn't want for need for nothing, and they made it happen by any means necessary. Those women out here that had that right there but chose what they thought the grass was green.
Oops. They went and got the bale of hay instead.
You went from subdivisions to subsidized rent. You got to be kidding me.
Okay, let's do this, because in that, all right, understanding, because you said a mouthful with, you took the man out, and so the child has no place anymore, because either the son has become the pseudo husband, or the daughter has become the pseudo wife, especially if they're the firstborn. Because I heard a lot of men, and this is whether they're single fathers by choice or by death, okay, because maybe they're widowed, where they leaned a lot on their daughters because she looks so much like her mother. Okay, so now you got her cooking and cleaning and this, that, and other, making sure your shirts get ironed, and you done gave her all your wifely responsibilities and wifely duties, and you're treating her like she's your wife. Ladies, you treat your son like he's your husband. Okay, the pseudo husband. Now he can do everything. He has all the responsibility that you want this man to have. Okay, and he's supposed to be your friend on top of it. So now, not only is he the man of the house, which I hate that expression, he also got to sit up here and tend to your needs, all that he can within reason.
Watch Baby Boy and quit looking.
Yes.
Stop looking at the movie and listen to the script.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Matter of fact, watch Baby Boy and just turn the doggone TV part off and leave the audio on.
Okay.
And see, don't you catch the nuggets.
Right.
Because everything he just said was in that movie.
When you start to elevate, watch how your children, so-called friends, and even their close family disappear.
Yep.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. And all of that. I've seen the parent try to shut the child down too. Sometimes the children become more emotionally mature than the parents.
Yeah.
I've seen it both ways. Yes.
That's true.
Well, here's okay, let's go there. When the child has become emotionally mature, it's because the parent done dumped everything in the child's lap.
Yep.
Listen, my mother told me if she had it to do all over again, she would have let me be a child. I said, Mama, and it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. I said, Mama, what do you mean? She said, baby, she said, I relied on you because you showed me you knew how to do it. She said, I showed you one time, you showed me you knew how to do it, and you did it well, and then I dumped it in your lap. Because there was one less thing for me to have to worry about because I knew you would take care of it. Okay. Well,
that's why our responsibility factors during our generation was a lot different, because it behooves me that a child right now, and I'm gonna say a child, I'm gonna say a person because it goes to young adulthood, but from the age 16 to 18 to even 20 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember to take out the trash or sweep a floor or wash a dish, or is it that they don't want to remember because they don't want to do anything? They just feel entitled to everything. Is take one way traffic.
Okay.
And even when you show them something, they'll show it back to you at that moment. But any days after that, they're not going to reciprocate it because they're not going to do anything until they are told.
Right.
They will literally walk over pieces of paper on the floor in the house they live in and walk past that paper 20 times in a week.
Okay.
Until you say, pick the paper up.
Right.
And to me, that's a sick-minded person. You know, and people got to understand something. They couldn't even start to deal with what we dealt with, because how is it you can't remember to take out the trash between the ages of 16 and 20, but at 9 years old, I can take care of a 3-month-old baby from Friday to Sunday?
Right. Not the whole weekend. Not the whole weekend.
With no adult supervision.
With no adult, because you were okay, this is the foreman, this is this is
at
this.
9 years old.
Right. Hello.
So, yes, I have a problem with you.
Okay.
I have a major problem with you. Because at that point, I'm 9, you're 18, 20. You're an idiot.
Okay. But here's where it is. And okay, let's not be so harsh with name calling.
Okay, idiot.
Because here is where let's break this down. Okay. Oftentimes, you know, this new little generation of folks, honey, they become entitled and another because we got the far extreme. You know, it was when we would come up, it was like, okay, if you use it, if you ate off of it, clean it. If you washed it, you know, dirty it up, you wash it. But we came up with that, so you clean up behind yourself.
Right.
Right.
You also had can I may I and not give me.
Right.
The
hell? Wait. What we had was, Mama, can I talk to you for a minute? What's the matter? Well, we got the stock up coming up, and I was wondering if I can get or could you give me $5 because it costs $5 to get in. I want to go with all of my friends. Okay. We had that, right? This generation got, moms, let me get $5.
Let me get. How about let me get you a head start while you do the
okay. Let me get,
that's what I mean. May I cannot for us, but
right. Okay. A lot of that, again, that's part of our fault because where we have dropped the ball It wanted to be friends and not wanting our kids to experience the hardships that we did. And it's done that. But I've been on the parents for a minute, but let me get on the kids. Because I got to make this a total thing.
That's right.
Okay. As y'all heard me, about my dad and carrying on. And I'm grateful to the fact that at this particular point, I'm 55 and my dad and I have a much. You know what? I can't stand him. Cannot. Anyway, we have a much better relationship now than we have ever had. Okay, but there's a couple of dynamics. One, we're older. I'm an adult. He's an adult. Two, I've got to process him as a man because as I'm going through my own little turmoils and shit, I'm able to see him. You understand? I'm able to see him. And I think I told you this one before. It wasn't until I was working at the Adult Education Center. I was security supervisor there.
Mm-hmm.
I told y'all here, everything up in here is 16 to 21.
Right.
And this is a last chance high school, right? You either go here or you go to jail. And then folks came up in there with their kids because they had daycare. It wasn't until I was working there that I saw my dad. Why? Because my dad was a 4 month into being 16 when I was born. His birthday is November 26th. I was born March 4th. So he's 16 going on 17. But he's 4 months into being 16 when I came to be.
So you was premature ejaculation?
And a bastard. Okay. Okay.
Woo.
Okay.
Well, shut up.
So when I saw these students, and they being hard and carrying on, into the streets and all of that.
Oh yeah, they gangster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they want your head. Well, hell on your head. I hope it's 50, y'all.
Okay. It was then that I saw my dad. Because, talking to the kids, I was like, I had to really wrestle them in like a father. Because here at that particular point, I'm like, damn, I'm old enough to be these kids' father,
Father?
Right. Papa, can you hear me? Anyway,
Papa, don't preach.
Stop it. I started that. Stop it. I got to get it out. But it was then, when I made that dynamic that damn, I could be somebody's father.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I saw my dad, because there was one little guy, well, not little, because yeah, I had to ship him off because he would have got me in trouble. The guy came in and I had to tell myself, I said, this boy is 17, Jesus. But he built like a 35-year-old.
Similar.
And I had to keep telling myself, I said, Demetrius, that boy is 17. That boy is 17. And he's smooth. And he said something that kind of reminded me of my dad.
Right.
And that's when it clicked. I said, damn, Daddy didn't know shit from Shinola when I was a kid. He was a kid himself trying to make it work. All he knew was, and I heard it with the kids there, hey, I got a son. Yeah, this is my son,
Which is why, I you know what? I'm glad you said this.
Uh-huh.
That part right there.
Uh-huh.
Because having adult children, right?
Right.
With children.
Right.
It starts to make you think, have they woke up one day and said, well, Dad, Daddy was a teenager.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He had to figure it out.
Right.
Or he had to learn this. He wasn't 35 years old when he made me.
Exactly.
Should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first doggone thing of adulthood that got shot to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Or to the mama left. I mean, but you know, but you understand. But you understand what I'm saying?
Keep going.
But you got to understand something, that at that age, you don't know that it's more important for you to get up and feed that baby or go to the store and get milk versus get your sleep. I ain't got to wake up.
Right.
In the morning time.
Because
I get there when I get there, because you were just coming to that age and era from 16, 18 years old. You're coming to the age and era where you feeding yourself, going to buy yourself something to eat. You get what I'm saying? Or it's still automatic that it's something in the refrigerator upstairs because you're at home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you get up, shower, free water. You know what I'm saying? Wash your clothes. Free heat, free lights, free gas. Get dressed. Eat breakfast. Still, you done had a full life before noon and ain't paid for nothing.
Right.
Not thinking that you got a mouth to feed somewhere close by.
Somewhere close by.
Because that's not, it ain't clicked for you yet. Because sometimes that particular chromosome is not developed in your brain. That little piece that you need in your cerebellum to go click, responsibility is not there. And just because you made a child, it doesn't make it rush to be there.
Ha ha ha.
So I am sick of women downing young fathers that don't know no better yet, when they didn't know shit when they had their first baby at 16.
Exactly.
Nobody's dogging them.
Right. And that's beautiful how you just put that. Because that is how I began my healing process with my dad. Okay. Awareness. Okay. Awareness. Because I was like, well, damn. You know, and especially when I made certain milestones and was like, as an adult, and I remember as a child going through something similar, you know, here when money got funky and I was about to lose my place, you know, because I'm out sick or whatever, and everything cut out here. Even the government, they wouldn't give me no food stamps, and the emergency unemployment compensation got cut. They stopped it, right? So there was no more unemployment, no more nothing. I was like, bitch, what do I do?
That's adulting.
And I remember being in that situation. I remember my parents going through that. Now they got kids. I don't have any biological children and no babies. Okay. So it's just me. Right. They have 4 kids.
Indeed.
You understand? Argued and carried on and went through the snub. And my daddy was a hustler too. So, you know, all right. But it became,
you ain't heard that from us.
Okay. It became, I need to do what I did. This is that you got to do what you got to do. A lot of us say that, and we don't even know exactly what that means. Okay. I got to do what I have to do in order to make this happen. Okay. And a lot of times we use that phrase as an do, not necessarily the things that we need to do.
Right.
Okay. So when I started to see that, I'm like, okay. So is that, and I was one of them too. When you feel as though your parent was not the parent you wanted them to be, or you thought they should have been, and you feel as though you are entitled to have a gripe. Because I did that with my dad for a long time.
Okay, I'm talking about everybody.
Okay.
You're right.
I did that with my dad for a long time because I felt that in his parenthood, he wasn't the father that I thought he should have been. And, there were certain things about me, I'm mad at him, not understanding his story, because I never got his story, right?
And to me, I call that audacity BS, because you can't have the audacity. Let me tell you something.
Come on, give it to
Let me
me.
tell you something. You can't have an opinion about somebody with half a story. Your opinion is crap. It don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
It don't mean nothing. You would rather take on the easy scepter of anger,
Right,
and attitude and ignorance,
right.
versus going intellectually and inquiring the other half.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? Anything divided by anything equals something. Anything multiplied by anything equals something. Anything plus anything equals something. Anything minus anything equals something. But if you only got anything and nothing else, how do you have an answer?
Because you ain't got nothing.
I hope y'all caught that.
Okay.
So you're walking around here with preconceived notions and attitudes with one of the parents.
Right.
And never confronted the parent.
Right.
And you can do it respectfully.
I was just, right. Sit down to have the conversation.
Because now you're an adult going through adulting.
Right.
So where do you get off thinking your life, when you get older, you can have adulting problems, and I couldn't have them back then?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Exactly. What is it? I'm supposed to not have adulting problems, or I'm supposed to be problem free? Or did somebody paint a picture for you that showed that I was willy-nilly while they were struggling?
Right.
Because
right.
It's lies and deceit. It's all lies and propaganda.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, nobody asks the pertinent questions to nothing. They're
Right.
happy with the negativity and the descriptive of badger.
Uh-huh.
They want to destroy everything. And God was a creator, right?
Come on.
So if he was a creator, we made like in his image, why are we not trying to do more creating instead of doggone steal, kill, seek, and destroy, what the devil does?
See?
Why are you so comfortable being the devil when you could create a better segue and a better relationship with all of us together?
Mm-hmm.
And back to that figure 8 again.
Mm-hmm.
Eternal connectivity between all bloodlines. But nobody wants to ask the pertinent question.
And there you go. So children, when you feel as though you can have a grudge or hold a grudge, and then when you feel as though just because I'm able to have conversation with my parents and I can talk freely, that I can step to them like a friend. I can correct them like I do my friends. Okay. When does that make sense? I could, because you don't like how I say it, so you go, yo, dude, what the fuck is that? Excuse you? Okay, and then you say it in that little tone or whatever. Now, yeah, mind you, we just got through talking just a moment ago. And you're like, oh, Dad, yeah, fuck this, that. Yeah, okay, you was in the store. But now you're like, dude, what the fuck? Now you step in, and then I've seen this. And I said, oh, Lord Jesus, don't let it happen, Lord. Where the child wants to step to the parent. Let me tell you something. Because I saw this in my own household. My nephew wanted to assert himself with my sister. And she was on the bed, and I kind of got mad at her, but I'm only watching a video, right? I don't necessarily know my nephew's temperament because I don't live in the same house. I've been down here in Atlanta all of their life, right? So all I know is I saw this motherfucker walk through the door, and he kind of like walked up on his mama, right? But Ma, why I got to do that? And I jumped. I said, Mo, I know your foot is down his motherfucking throat. She said, no, Michi wasn't like that. I said, wait a minute. I know you're not going to tell me you scared of a child that came up out of you. I know motherfucking well you ain't going to tell me that something that you done brought into this world put the fear of God in you. She said, motherfucker. My sister cussing me out. The hell you talking about? Hell no, I ain't scared of my goddamn kids. You just don't understand it. I said, you better tell me something. You better tell me something, right? So then I said, well, let me call and talk to her so I can see what's going on. Well, then he in his feelings. And he wanted to sit up there and tell me, man, you don't know me. And you ain't got no such and such. I forgot what the words he said. And my sister said, she said, who do you think you talking to like that? That is your uncle. I said, Mo, let him have it. I said, I need him to get it all out. Get it all out. Right? Well, because I called him on what happened was I called him on his phone and he hung up on me. That's the first thing. So I called her phone and finished the conversation. So it was at that time where I went, oh, okay, here we're going here. And I told him, I said, let me tell you something, fucker. Since you claim you want to be grown and shit, you got an ass whooping coming. And that's on site. I said, I don't care if I'm 99 and you 65. I said, when I see you, I am fucking you up. Because I said, and you don't know when I'm going to pop in town, little fucker, right? You don't know when I'm coming. And God help me, because I was about to gas up the end. I called you. I said, boy. He said, what? I said, nigga, I'm at a road trip. I got to go put my foot in this motherfucker's ass. I was going to drive them 12 hours to go kick my nephew's ass. Do you understand me?
If anybody know me, I'm waiting.
Wait, because he is. Because he say, what side of town he stay on? I said, they west. And I told him, he said, send me a picture. I said, yeah, bet. Okay. Because
I'm not like that. I'm not like that.
I am. But I am.
I'm gonna tell you, baby.
So am I. Okay. Right. Okay. But all of that to say that we have allowed kids, kids have taken certain liberties and they want to step to the parents as if they are entitled to it, as if, a lot of times they feel as though they can take them, especially when you got kids working at the school. There was a number of these goddamn kids that thought that they were my size or bigger.
Yeah, I like them.
That they could take me. Yeah. Oh, you ain't no problem. I could take you easily. I said, ooh.
See, them the ones right there?
Yeah.
Even I'm saying, if anybody know me from my bouncing days in the clubs, right? I have had times where I would clear the club out because of mob action. And I have grabbed what I call a little ninja. And I would snatch him out. And I would see right behind the little ninja, a big ninja, my size or bigger. And I would literally, and they'll tell you this, you can ask all across Georgia, I would throw the little ninja back in the crowd with one hand because I want the big one.
Okay.
And I grabbed the big one.
Okay.
And I worked him like he was the little one.
Right.
But my point is this. I can't get no points for that minnow.
That's right. Right.
That
right.
Shark gonna weigh in.
Right. Exactly. Wait a minute, this is rich right here. I had to remind a younger man that his mother wasn't always his mother, but was a woman with dreams before she had him. I like that. And I'm going to flip that too, because see, there's a lot of fathers out here who became dads simply because they did not know what they're not necessarily on having hopes and dreams or whatever, but a lot of men became fathers because they wanted to feel good.
You know,
Okay.
Can I pass out some flowers?
Okay.
I want to give flowers to the men who have spent tens and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, not only taking care of their own, but raising other men's kids.
There we go, right there.
And was not appreciated for 150-cent piece.
There we go.
Was not one thing, was looked at like they done nothing, but put other man kids through college, and those people you put through college give you their ass to kiss. I need to be one of the men that say, brother, even on the reverse side, sisters, I'm giving you your flowers. And I keep you in my prayers, because sometimes that puts you in a position as if you've been robbed.
Oh,
not out of money only, but out of time.
Right.
Dignity and respect.
Time, emotional, your emotional integrity.
Because you'll feel like if you vested 18 years on a child that wasn't yours, and they give you their ass to kiss,
ooh,
don't shoot them. Give it to God. Just let them have it.
Okay.
Let them have it, because guess what? No good deed goes unturned. So just stand down, and I know the feeling, because I don't care what you invest in somebody else's child, they're gonna make it look like you did.
That you did not a damn thing. But the song say, no matter the first time I said no, it's like I never said yes. Okay, Buck,
what's happening?
What you got, baby? What up, Doug? What up, Doug?
Coming to you live and direct from your hometown of Detroit, Michigan.
Midwest, baby.
Thank you, as always, brother, for allowing me to join your platform. The program director here at Nighthawk Network needs to speak to y'all in a little bit, but right now, let's get to the subject at hand.
Dig it.
Parents ain't your damn friends. Y'all have made several great points so far. Let me add a couple, if I may.
Go ahead.
First and foremost, children. The children, as you call them. Y'all need to understand where we're coming from, okay? This ain't just old folks running off at the guns. Y'all really need to start seeing what we saying. I love you on Nikki's show as well, by the way, Meet. If I see that comment. Shout out to Niecy Daniels on her platform over there on her beautiful station. But anyway, back to the point at hand. The children. Listen very carefully. Part of the problem I'm having is because I am privileged enough to work in an environment where I get to talk to people from other walks of life, other countries and whatnot.
Right.
I need you to get that we as Americans are going in the wrong direction in terms of how not only we run this country, how we live in this country, but how we deal with one another as well, okay? We're not having this conversation if we in India right now. We're not having this conversation if we are in some of our southern countries down there in Guatemala and whatnot.
Right.
We're not having that conversation because we hadn't actually, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, the problem is that we done decided at some point, I don't know if it was the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, that, okay, the way we doing this ain't working. Let's take all the good things that we was doing and throw them out the window, and let's keep all the bad stuff.
Right.
Let's get rid of whooping the kids. Let's get rid of talking to them mean. Let's get rid of not belittling them in public. Let's get rid of all of that and just allow them to speak to us as if they was us. Now understand part of our problem is that we got parents and y'all some PAPs. On my platform, I call you PAPs. What does that stand for? Punk ass parent. Okay? You're a punk ass parent because, first of all, you became a parent without full knowledge of what that truly means. Being a parent, and keep in mind, I am not one, but I still know what one is a 24/7, 366 job, okay? You can't just up and decide on Tuesday, no, I'm not going to be a parent today. I'm just going to be me. Nope, once you done handled the business and opened the leg and inserted and all of that, and wah, parent for life, okay? Understand that. Parent for life.
Life.
What that means is that your child is your responsibility. And your main responsibility to that child is to teach them how to be an outstanding adult. As you mentioned earlier, don't be me, be better than me. Because we're supposed to take not only what we learned during these books, but what we did not learn and put both of those in a nice little stew and feed that child. Feed his mind, his body, his soul. Till we get to a point where we say, okay, our job is done. I've taught you right from wrong. I've taught you what was good. I've taught you my mistakes. Now let's see you take that knowledge and run with it. One of the main problems that we had as people growing up was that, yeah, we stayed out of we stayed in a child's place. We did. But in the same token, when we came close to manhood, womanhood, what have you, at some point, them parents should sit down with us like they do in other cultures and be like, okay, you're about to become a man soon. You're about to become a woman soon. Here's what we need to talk about, okay?
Come on.
Here's what we need to say. We need to know A, B, C, D, E, and work off that. No, we didn't have those discussions. That's why when we come 18 and 19 and it's time to be in relationships and get busy and all of that, don't know what to do. We just kind of roll it out. Okay? It's the reason why these United States have the highest divorce rate of any country on planet Earth. It's because we have learned not what we need to do to make relationships work. We have learned not what we need to do to make parenting work, particularly co-parenting, as many of our people are co-parents and not parents living in the same household. We have not learned from the past mistakes of our ancestors.
Right.
Okay? Whooping the butt was not the mistake.
Nope.
It was having the knowledge to know, okay, I know how a child thinks because guess what? At some point in my life, I was a child, okay?
Right.
That's the difference. That is the key difference. Your child can't sit here and dictate to you because they don't know what it's like to be an adult. But you, on the other hand, know what it's like to be them, okay? They must always have that understanding in your dynamic. I've been where you've been. I remember the day, some hair down there.
Okay.
I remember the day where it's like, oh, that's why 9 + 9 = 18. I done been through all that, okay? Your child has not been through that. So when it comes to certain situations, and they like, well, mama, you should, mama, my behind, shut up. You don't know. You ain't been alive long enough to know. I don't care how many books you think you read. I don't care how many older friends you got. I don't care how many TikToks you done seen. You don't know. And you ain't gonna know until it's time for you to know.
Exactly.
All right. So again, I'm now looking at a lot of these situations, not only from we the people standpoint, we the color standpoint, but a we the world standpoint. And like I said, in other cultures, some of the stuff we dealing with, some of the stuff we talking about right now,
it don't exist.
When you got these problems, you go down there and talk your mess and Hector in them house, and as soon as you get to all that, before you hit the door, good yaya that went upside your head. It's stupid or get outside. What's wrong with you? No.
That's true.
It ain't happening, okay?
Right.
And the other main issue is the fact that a lot of these parents, y'all parents, when it's convenient.
Ooh.
Okay. When it's time for that little orange card to come and get that monthly, that a lot of y'all is selling off. And by the way, that big beautiful bill, that's part of that big beautiful bill. I hope y'all getting it in while you can. When they start requiring ID for your card, so that you can't sell off them stamps like you've been doing, and less money you will be getting, by the way, in that big beautiful bill, I might add. That's gonna be a problem for some of y'all because that's part of your actual income that you got in your budget. Yeah, you're a parent at that time, okay? When it's time for the first of the month, get up, get up, get up. Yeah, you want to be a parent then. When it's time for that income tax and you get that big old tax refund because you done had 5, 6, 7 kids, guess what? They're going to cut some of that too. But in the meanwhile, yeah, you can't wait for tax money day so you can take 80% of that money and spend it on your damn self and buy a bigger TV than the big TV you bought last year, as opposed to spending the majority of that money on what you're supposed to be spending it on. On kids. Again, some of y'all become parents because it's like, well, he done did that in me, and he talking about leaving me alone now. I know what to do. I'm gonna have that dude, baby. And when he get to acting up, like, you won't be able to see man no more. You better not act like that. I got him. You want to see him? You better treat me right. No, no, and no. And for you brothers, okay, it's like, well, I ain't feel like wrapping up that day. Oh, she having a baby? Oh, well, I ain't gonna deal with it. She should have went down to the clinic herself and whatnot. You know, back in the day, that wasn't like that. You at least had to have your half on it back in the day. If you was a decent individual. Now they're like, it's whatever. I mean, the fact that you are a baby daddy and you got 6 and 7 baby mamas, you should be ashamed of your damn self. Okay? Because, yeah.
Why should it be?
And unless you a Nick Cannon and can afford to have 12 kids and spend quality time with all of them and invest in their future like all of that, I highly suggest that after that second or third one, you probably should have wrapped it up.
Well, goddamn it, I must be a junior Nick at night because I took it all, man.
So, long story short, good people, they is not your damn friends. They is not your damn cashing cards either. Okay, when you create these children, people understand that they are your responsibility full time. Period. Point blank. And to deal with them properly, you got to let them know it's levels to this. It's just like it is in real life. We all have a boss.
Okay.
Even Bezos got a boss to a degree, okay? And in the end, in your household, if your child is your friend and you not their boss, and then you like that later on, you're bad. You're bad.
You know what? Wait a minute. Rest in charge of rent. But here's the T. If you have not established a boundary, that's not going to do nothing.
Nope.
I should not drink.
I want to make sure that when we pin this right here, this actual information that Buck gave, we're going to call that bodega parenting.
Oh.
Nah.
Okay.
That's exactly what that is.
Okay.
And right, you know the boundary, like far as the rent thing.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is
unmute yourself, man.
They can't hear me.
We hear you, but they don't.
They can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on another mic.
All right, we good. Continue.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you like this: you have to put them on a lease. You got to treat them like somebody out the street.
Like right. Right.
And the minute that they try to play the mommy daddy card, you lean into them like a stranger that you rent an apartment to.
Right.
Because that's the only way that you're gonna have them mentally separate themselves and see that it's time to have responsibilities.
Now you know I have a name for that. We've talked about it before the show. I call it real life application.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. A lot of this happens to be. Let's go here because see the dynamic. There's a dynamic here that I want to talk to you about the children, and that there is when you come from a split home. Okay.
Mhm.
When you come from a split home, you spend most of the time with one parent, the custodial parent. The other parent comes in. They're part of your life, but they're not there on a consistent basis. Okay. But you had no wants. Okay. There were no wants. There was nothing there that you went lacking. Okay. However, you don't know that. You don't know whether all this was coming from. Okay. Then what happens over the time as you want to experience whichever parent is missing, the other parent with their friends or whatever get the bad mouthing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Talking about the flaws of their relationship or why it didn't work. Okay. And then it starts to plant a seed of doubt and negativity and carrying on to where it's like, okay, I don't know who this is. Okay. Now we've rejoined as adults. I'm a young adult. Okay. Now I've got to go through and understand who you are as an adult. Okay. But in understanding you, I still got to push those boundaries to carry on because I don't know what the boundaries are. Because I had to learn those boundaries because we weren't in the same house.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that there, we had a conversation before about particularly and when the rite of passage where men, it comes that day where a man gonna have to put his foot or his fist in the boy's chest because they get to that point where they want to be a man but don't know what that means and they want to step.
Yeah.
Women do that with their daughters because the girls get up there and want to act like they a bad bitch.
But the rite of passage, these generations now,
Yeah.
they have made it. As I said, they made it where, okay, it used to be, a punch in the chest and get your mind right.
Right.
Now you gotta literally doggone chop them in the throat.
Right. Damn, they have kill them. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's sad, but that's why I get that joke I make where you need to reach in your child, snatch their skeleton out, and shake it in front of them and put it back in there for them to get it right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we have and what a lot of that is that children have not found a way to open up their hearts, open up their mouths to say, listen, can we sit down and talk? Now, we said that earlier,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you ask the right questions, you'll come through and get some. I had to, like y'all heard me say, it did not click for me until I saw that boy in the school that I was working in, and he said something similar to what I saw my daddy. And I was like, ain't that a bitch? This is him. Don't know nothing from nothing, trying to make it make sense. And all you know is I got a son. And because I'm the firstborn and I'm a son, now they give you bragging rights and beat your chest or whatever, because I got a son. Right?
But don't have no receipt for family milk or nothing.
Right.
Don't know nothing from nothing.
Okay. Let me throw this in the mix.
Yeah.
Remember once upon a time when we was all family and we came home for dinner and we all sat at the dinner table and discussed what was going on.
Right.
Does that happen in anybody's house anymore?
Not like that, unless it's holiday time.
And don't we see that as part of the problem?
I'll give you that.
Understand, I lived here with Patricia Ann for many years before I moved back to live with Patricia Ann. Another story. But that being said, do you know we went days at a time, barely speaking to one another, and we lived in the same damn house.
Right. How about that? Okay. That whole isolation thing.
She bought the food, I cooked it, all that. We y'all had that discussion earlier about having kids with adult responsibilities as a child. I am
Right.
a poster child for that. But anyway, that's part of what it is. It should not be a day where you don't at least, hi mama, what's going on, mama? Hey son, what's going on, son? Some type of little back and forth. It should not go days at a time like, you seen mommy? Yeah, I seen her a couple days ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it was to a point where I lived upstairs and she lived down here.
Right.
So she didn't catch me going to the bathroom or grab something to eat. And how many households nowadays is exactly like that?
Right.
To the point where not only do you not know what your child is doing, remember that saying back in the day?
Okay.
8 o'clock.
Hey, but
You
it's
know where your
worse
child
now.
is?
It's worse now because not only do you not see them or talk, now they'll text you like they're in another state somewhere.
Right. Right. Y'all keep talking. I got to.
Which leads to my next point. Now, there is a parent in your child's life, even if you ain't. Allow me to introduce him.
Right there.
That is the parent in most of these kids' situations right now. Not mama, not daddy.
Yep.
Because oftentimes I need to know about something in my life. I'm not talking to them. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to see what it say on TikTok. I'm going to see what it say on Instagram. How many of you parents right now know that you can go to your child's phone and know everything on their social media is something you can show your grandma with no problem? I bet you a lot of you couldn't.
No.
I promise you that.
Go through their photos on social media.
Right. But yeah, y'all friends. Yeah, we look at TikToks and stuff together. It's a beautiful thing. Y'all done seen some of that stuff on TikTok. Is you seriously sitting there with your child and watching that and having some type of discussion based on how big that child booty is or so on and so forth? I think not. Another thing, let me throw this in the mix. Part of what has thrown us in the scenario, remember that good old thing they used to call the idiot box?
Nah.
There used to be this thing that we call quality television, where a lot of these shows that we could sit and watch as a family, whether you be white, black, or otherwise, going back to the days of the Waltons and Little House on the Prairie, to the good old 80s with shows like Roseanne, and of course the timeless classic that has gone by the wayside due to the actions of its creator, The Bill Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those lessons that we learned as kids from The Cosby Show could be very vital in today's society, because they still are very much a part of today's lexicon when it comes to hanging out with the wrong friends or teen pregnancy or some of the many issues that The Cosby Show and of course its adjacent show, A Different World, discussed in the 80s and 90s. Lessons that you can sit there and watch as a family and then later on say, hey, you know somebody like that? Let's talk about it.
Right.
Like Tracy said, the Boo too, we had classic TV. And of course, yes, some of us still do, because we'll take the time to watch our TV on DVD or to go on some of those streaming platforms and watch some of those shows, because those shows get more views than some others. Do you know, interesting factoid, by the way, that those people who are seen to be more competent in our age range tend to be people that watch the same show constantly over and over again, like the same episodes of The Big Bang Theory or The Cosby Show or things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
It is said that we are more intelligent because we know the endings of these shows and whatnot, the plot lines and whatnot. We are keeping that in our forefront, as opposed to watching the show and we don't have no clue as to what may happen next, or have any idea what the hell it's about.
Well, but let's keep it 100. Those shows of our that you're talking about that we watch over and over again always had lessons that we could apply to life.
Absolutely,
made sense. And what
and
it could be funny. Like, it's a difference between funny and silly.
Right, exactly.
It could be funny and not silly. It could be funny and be an education, and it could be silly and something you forget.
Right. Exactly.
SpongeBob take over. It all went downhill from there. Okay.
But see, here's the other thing. With understanding television, see, we watch all that kind of stuff because number one, it's nostalgic, but number two, y'all hear me do this on the show often. I would grab a TV and movie quote. You know, I'm always quoting good times. In fact, let's talk about that in the sense of this here in this subject. Y'all would have never seen JJ and Thelma try to sit there and friend their mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Florida Evans was not playing that.
I bet you won't say what's up, my ninja to James Evans.
Ooh.
No, sir, Reebok.
Okay. Exactly. You know, and that there is we have points of reference. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? This our kids and now our kids because we grandparents.
Right.
Now.
I mean, we even had single parents. Sanford and Son, Chico and the Main.
And even with the situation comedies, you know, a lot of the stuff that we had, you know, it still gave us the lessons in it. You know, I talk about Sanford and Son, but nobody gives the credit to Sanford and Son, being that we had a black man who was an entrepreneur. They were business owners.
Right.
They were business owners who they stayed off the radar or whatever, you know. Now, we didn't necessarily see them necessarily sell stuff or whatever, but we knew they had money coming in. Okay, because why? Lamont was always gone out junking and this, that, and that. You know, come help me with this stuff and this, that, and that. Every now and again, they would show you this, that, and other. Even we talk about adult children. Let's look at Lamont and Fred. Their relationship, I won't necessarily say it's toxic, but their relationship dynamic was that of two adult men, okay, who battled with control, okay, who battled with control. And every so often, Fred had to snatch back and say, you forgot who the hell I am. I'm your father.
Exactly.
Okay. You big dummy. Okay. Okay. Pop, what you gonna do with all that money? Shut up, you know, Lamont, you know, and this, that, and the other. There was a dynamic there that as adult men, okay, they were able, but Lamont still knew that was his father.
Right. Absolutely.
You understand? Lamont still knew that was his father.
And then check this out. When he got out of hand, some of them later episodes, was it not his friend Julio?
Right.
Back in like, get your father, Lamont. You talk to him like that.
Right. We'll put him in check.
Again, the point that you made, another nationality.
Exactly.
Okay.
They don't do that.
And that was in the TV show. Now catch that. I say, did you see how we dissecting that here today? We're still able, which is why those shows were relevant.
Right.
Okay. And still are, which is why I don't care how many times I done watch Good Times. I know when James about to die and carrying on. I know Florida will smash this damn thing.
And understand when we talk about some of those shows and repetition, a lot of those viewerships come from other countries across the world that still watch them shows.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they relate to how they go as opposed to the new stuff. And a lot of people out there in India and Pakistan not watching Real Housewives or blah, blah, blah.
No, they ain't watching that. No.
Love Island and all that other BS.
A lot of that. one of the things about that is that overseas, the arts are much more appreciated overseas and carried on. Now you will come across something that would take a stab at us or whatever, but that there becomes propaganda because this is what they say is, what's going on in the world or whatever. So they just emulating what are imitating life. But one of the things about children, even in our show, let's take that to the TV. Let's take it to the TV. Because even in our shows, there was still, let's take the Parkers, let's go there. Because it seemed like Nikki Parker and her daughter, what was her name in the show? Okay, Countess Vaughn's character.
Yeah, it'll come to me.
They sit up there and act like they were girlfriends for a minute. But, and this hip hop generation, Nikki Parker knew how to snatch the little bitch. Okay. And get her right and would tell her, okay, you don't step when you forgot who I am.
But mom, I just want a party.
Okay, right. You just want a party, but you're gonna give me these grades. Like I said, no, you can't have no party because you ain't bringing what you need to do to get. Okay.
Dang, mama.
Right. Right. Okay. It was, but she knew how to snatch her, and still get her. And Miss Thing, her defiance of her mother came like most regular children would do.
And what was the non-melanin girl?
6? No, she was 6 on Blossom.
Yeah, she was 6 on Blossom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Van Oy.
Huh?
Yeah.
Van Oy. That's her last name. I can't think of her first name at the moment.
Yeah. So her name should have been collard green cornbread.
Anywho.
She grew up kind of nice herself, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Yeah. Good and wholesome.
Well, okay, Meech. Okay. All right.
No, because when I get started, ain't nobody stopping me.
Yeah, I know, because when you talk about Eddie Winslow and all that, I know you was
I ain't worried about now.
Not so much.
Anywho.
It was his daddy.
We had Claire Huxtable. We sure did, Tracy.
Okay. But in the lessons though, okay, we had even in the television and carrying on, even in the more racier shows, as the situation comedy got more leaning more so into hip hop culture or whatever, even in those shows.
The Living Singles and stuff of the world.
Yeah, but we still, let's take Living Single. Let's go right there. When, child, what episode was that? When the mamas was on the show.
We live right now.
And Queen Latifah's mama, who played her actual mama, played her mama on the show.
Yeah.
And she had to sit up there and snatch her, and she said, "Oh, wait a minute, you take that tone with me one more time." Okay. Snatched her. Okay. So no, you forgot. You got this little magazine and shit, girl. You forgot who I am. Okay. What was the other one? Okay, Claire Huxtable. What she tell Denise? Take that tone with us again, huh? You
right.
Take that money
and go discover America.
America.
Yes, man.
Okay. Y'all know we all live for that shit.
Oh, yeah.
But that there is the thing. We made sure that in the television program, particularly those that were African-American centered, there was no such thing as the children becoming friends with the parents. Now, in other shows, the dynamics were a little different, honey. Now, they weren't necessarily friends with their parents, but the way how they talked to their parents, honey, was a little different.
Mm-hmm. Take that show One-on-One, for instance.
Yes. Okay. They talk to their parents very differently. And it is up to us to hone this in. Okay. It's up to us to want to make sure that we start to become parents again.
Right.
Okay. When you sat down there and did the do, whether you did it, whether it was planned, unplanned, whether you were solo and went in vitro because you feel I'm woman, hear me roar, okay, and I could do this on my own.
He didn't say I'm one to get me roared.
Whether you were the dude and set up there and you know your pull-out game ain't shit. Okay, and you didn't use no condoms.
Right.
Okay. You know all this, and you know you fertile as hell.
You know what though? That's the thing that didn't exist during our time of intimacy and segue into manhood. The pull-out game.
Right.
Okay. All right. I want to know exactly how ignorant you got to be to think that you pull it out during the time of ejaculation that stops a pregnancy. When she was pregnant, was in the pre-cum.
Exactly.
Why are they not teaching these kids this when they taught us this?
Right.
Because more children learn not from their health class, but from them pornos they was watch. Particularly now when you can go to your other parent and he can show you a few things on that thing they call Pornhub.
Well, that's the same. Well, you know, you're right about that because how many porns they have with condoms on?
Right.
Exactly.
You know, this, that, again, and let me go here because we talking about parents being friends. When you're sitting up there and you're a sex toy distributor, honey, and you got your kids working for you.
That I saw that one time, and it was the weirdest thing
Okay.
to me. And I was
okay.
Like, I was like, what did you
say? Secondary income.
Right. Nah. Wait. When we got television programs where, what's this on YouTube, where the mama and the daughter are pregnant by the same boy?
Yes.
Because they're in a poly relationship now.
Lord have mercy.
Okay. I thought I was dreaming that. I said, this ain't real.
Oh, no.
And I had to go. I went and found the thing. I said, oh, dear God, this is real for real.
Believe me, there's something going on where there's a race to the weirdo.
You know,
like who can be the weirdest when it comes to relationships in the United States of America? There's a race to it.
Yeah. We have allowed ourselves to, hey, Tiff, what you say? I'm late to the party, but it's all good because I'm here. That's right.
Tiffany Jones, the show's favorite drinking buddy. What you drinking, Tiffany?
Okay. But we have allowed ourselves to, this has just become normal practices now, all in the name of what? You know, freedom of expression, freedom of what? I don't even know what it is. But right now we have allowed this. And then those of us who are parents who you don't want to grow the fuck up. You don't want to be accountable. You don't want to have responsibility for your own kids. What was the girl, the thing that went viral was she stood up there and got all set. Well, she had 6 or 7 kids, and they came and took them from her. Yeah. And she owned the thing, smoking her weed parties. Come like, oh God, they came and got these little motherfuckers. You know, and she said, I don't care how you feel. Those are my kids. I didn't want their asses no motherfucking more, and they gone.
By the way, you are in the studio of
right
radio where we are filming podcast this week. Big meets, and so
let me also add,
whatever you hear is what you hear.
If you're not sure what you should be doing as a parent, there's help out there for you. Don't be afraid to go ask for some help.
Yeah, there may not be a parenting book, but there are programs.
Absolutely.
That will guide you.
But let's break that down. We know there are programs out there that will help guide you. But again, a lot of folks don't want to be parents. They want you to do it for you. They want you to do it for them. They want to drop the baby off so they can still go party. Listen, when my mother told me this, and I swear I ran with it ever since. She said that she took me, she called my grandmother, and one of my grandmother's babysit, right? Because she was trying to go to some little soiree, little party thing. And Miss Sarah Francis told Miss Essie Lorraine, honey, well, baby, if you're going somewhere where you can't take your child, perhaps you ought not go. When my mother told me that, honey, I said, oh, mistake, that is a read read for the gods. Okay. That is a read for the gods.
My thing is this.
Okay.
It was at that moment you could have took the educational highway or the disrespectful one. Okay. Either way it go, you was gonna end up at home with your baby.
Or no, I'm gonna tell you what Miss Defiant Essie Lorraine did. A girlfriend packed me up and took me to that damn party. Okay. But now here's the flaw. Here is the flaw. Because she thought she was doing right? But since nobody I'll take my baby. But you got me out here in all this adult activity. Yes, I'm in the other room. Okay, I'm a child. Well, I had to be like 2, 3, before my brother was born. And I'm 3 years older than him. So now y'all drinking, cutting up, and doing what you go do out in the other room. My mother said I got up one time and came out because I had piss in my diaper or whatever. And I came out and I told them I'm wet. Right?
Oh no, nigga, you going to the bathroom.
And my mother said, I know goddamn well this boy ain't gonna come out here and tell me he wet. Right?
Oh no, you going to unemployment.
Okay. So it became that. So now me, and I was the precocious one, honey, because life is going on around me, honey. Demetrius got to know what's happening. I'm nosy. Okay. So I'm in the cubby holes or whatever. Okay, what is it? Did he just bobblehead me? I'm sick of you. And then, wait! Wait! Buck! Wait!
Let me change my avatar to E. Bennett.
So now this is how Demetrius became, y'all remember on What's Happening, D, with all that mouth and carrying on. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Spanky mama.
Okay, that was Demetrius. Okay. And my mother, she'd tell me all this, she said, your mom gonna get your ass in trouble. Okay. Because now I'm able, it was cute. Okay, because the adults loved it. It's cute. All right. And I remember doing this. We were in the car, and the guy who was driving, I really didn't care for him. I didn't like him at all. But somebody was trying to date him. One of my mama's friends was dating him or whatever. And so everything he did was wrong. Right? The light changed. You know how the light changed on there? And I remember this specifically. The light changed, and you got to take your foot off the brake and hit the accelerator in order for the car to move. But we didn't move fast enough for me. So what did Demetrius say? The light is green. Right? And of course the lady started, oh, that's so cute. He getting on you when I move the car. My mama tore my ass up when I got home. Okay.
Notice how I'm doing this.
Right. Okay. Right. No, I was a little too young.
Pat's first reaction would have been to break me off a couple of arenas right quick in the back seat.
That came later. Okay, when you were backed up in the mouth.
I was told,
What?
That your mouth was gonna get you in trouble. And I never got to the situation where I got slapped in the mouth for saying something out of pocket. But then one day my mother walked in on me and my significant other, and I got in trouble. So my mouth did get me in trouble. Yeah, it was. So I guess that did work. Did I say something wrong? You guys are sensitive.
Alrighty then. Next question.
Okay, you know what? This motherfucker here. Okay.
I would usually say at this time, but it's not. Yeah, that's why I forgot. My big brother told me to tell you, Nikki, he doing it again.
Right. Okay. and this, that, and the third. Okay.
Okay.
Y'all too sensitive.
Ain't nobody sensitive to that. I keep telling y'all. See, I have to do this because if I get started,
but it's okay. It was okay for me to say that because you're allergic to fish. So it's like there's a difference.
I'm allergic to shellfish. Thank you. Okay.
Well, you're allergic to anything swimming for 28 days.
Well,
Okay.
yes.
Well, that's him. You call me Aquaman. Anyway, look.
That's my dog right there.
Okay. Listen, okay, you know
Child
what? Okay, this is starting to take a
It's
turn.
almost time to be over.
You know what? Yeah. Because if I see, this is what the heterosexuals get on my damn nerves.
You're outnumbered.
I am outnumbered, but
We're not going to the meat market tonight.
Shit. Okay, that's a motherfucking lie.
There's a shortage on post.
I can still take chicken.
Now we want to turn this to the After Dark edition.
Yeah.
Don't make me go get the road.
Okay. And some peanut butter.
Uh-huh.
Oh, which reminds me, I still got to go to the store. I still ain't got my peanut
We
butter
got to bring back the After Dark edition one of these days.
Oh, child, you know what? It'll be soon, honey.
Mm-hmm.
It will be soon. Okay.
And now who's running?
Now he talking about don't invite him. He gonna start the shit, but did don't want to be invited. Ain't that a mother?
You know you had some of the best episodes. Quit playing.
You know what? Anywho.
I don't remember.
You don't recall? Okay. Okay,
okay, Oliver North. Okay, Anywho. Nonetheless, let's reel it on in because
talk to your children, okay? But talk to them like you in charge, not like y'all boys.
Your baby ain't your friend. Your baby ain't your partner.
Okay, but at the same time, children, you have to remember, you must remember, you will always be the child. Okay?
Not the kid.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You will always be the way. Here's where it is. I don't care how grown your ass becomes.
Yeah.
You will always be the child until you become a parent. Not my parent, a parent. You understand?
Which leads to a
So
whole
in that
other
case,
conversation.
In that case, it's going to take that in order for us to really get it. Because though I don't have biological children, honey, I've raised kids, okay? And it wasn't until my, oh, Lord.
You got some bi kids, right?
What?
Yeah.
You know what? I walked into that one. I walked in. That's my fault.
You walked in the back end.
Damn. I know. I know.
I would say I slipped it in on you, but you like it.
God damn it. Yeah, completely. Okay. But like I'm saying, you will always be the child. Okay. And there is never a point in your relationship as a child that you are to step to your parent in that regard, because they ain't your homies. They ain't your friends. And what you don't know is what it took for them to get you here. Whether or not you agree, because like I said, I was with my father and I lived in the same house up until I was 9. Okay, 8.5, 9. That's when the marriage went bad. Mom and daddy broke up and just another d. After that, my father and I, we have not lived in the same household since. Okay. So because of that, I have my own preconceived notions and my angers and carrying on. I am very grateful that my mother never bad talked my dad in front of us.
That,
Okay.
And that be one of the major problems in America today.
She never
Right
bad
there.
talked my dad. Now, menfolk, y'all are horrible at this. Y'all will bitch her out. She all kinds of bitches. She all kind of hoes. She all kind of, and it's that man shit. Okay. That bitch crazy. Oh, that bitch, but fuck that bitch. It's always that. Okay. In front of your boys, in front of your daughters, in front of your friends, especially then because
quick to cuss somebody out in front of your child, but don't feel you can be man enough to cry in front of them.
Wait. Because what you just said, there's a lot of truth in it. But you got to remember, and you know this, there are intellectual stages to that.
Break it down.
Because men of certain caliber don't do that.
I get it.
But a majority of them do it because those are the ones that went past the school and not in the school.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
Boom.
Those are the ones that thought a higher education was being an overachiever because the white man taught you that, teaching you to be a dummy.
Right.
You see everybody succeeding on social media.
Right. Because you want to be an influencer now.
Yeah. you want
what?
But all these entertainers and these influencers making fools out of you because half of them got master's degrees and PhDs and not telling you, but they on there acting goofy and uneducated, and you think that's the way to go, and you think you don't need this and that and the other. They not dumb. They know that's gonna last. Every little wave gonna last so long, but then what are you gonna do when it falls?
Exactly. Okay, so we have to keep all of that in mind, and one of the things that we have to do have a better thing doing. We have to be better at addressing issues head on. All right. We have to be better at calling it out, having conversation, and being real with the conversation. Okay. Being real with it. Oftentimes I'm able to talk to my dad now, but see, my dad will be what? He'll be 72 this November. Okay. And so I'm able to go to him now. And if I'm scared about something or I got any trepidation or whatever, I can say that now and he gets it. But I know when I was a kid to say I was scared, that was damn near ass whooping. Dude, shut the fuck up. I ain't got no damn punks. It was that shit.
So now you feel like you can call him up, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say, for instance, right?
There you go.
That you can call him up, okay?
He's gonna say something.
I'm gonna be you. No, I'm gonna be you.
He's gonna say something.
No, you can say you call him up, say, Daddy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through something right now and I don't know what to do about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried.
Mm-hmm.
Because last night this guy was banging me out and he said I will always be here.
God damn it, I knew your ass was gonna do something stupid.
So you feel that comfortable?
Actually, well, that's a good question. Do I feel that comfortable with Daddy? Because I was that comfortable with Mama. I got to the point where I was comfortable, and the first time I would,
psychologically you were comfortable with Mama. God rest her soul, good woman, great woman. But at the same time, people that are used to certain things and the same things can understand things. Nobody's banging your daddy up.
But he was in jail, so he understands.
Son, you cannot nut up in the grocery store and call your mama all types of
bitches. No, don't run, motherfucker. Don't run now. No, come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Yeah, I think my dad was traumatized by Boosie.
And call your mama all types of bitches because
no, he gonna run. Ain't that a bitch?
When CPS come to the house and come to take you and put you in a little boy's home and you can't come back home and play your PlayStation 5 no more, you gonna wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Have that discussion with these children.
Okay.
Hey, Buck, it was wonderful seeing you, man. Love you, brother, always.
You know what? He just changed the subject.
Tracy, you already know.
You know what? See, this is
not your first rodeo.
I get started. See, then y'all gonna want to run and come up with all kinds of bullshit to say, and now he flashing the light. Okay.
That's when the show goes.
Okay. Okay. But nonetheless, I got to a point now to where with my dad, we can really sit down and if I need to talk to him, I can. All right. And I won't get the machismo, shit that I got when he was a young man. You know what I'm saying? Times have changed, and we are actually seeing each other as grown men dealing with experiences, right? At the same time, that's a process.
Right.
Okay, that there is a process. Now, because I told y'all a while ago, back in 1993, when I was 23, that was when we had our pickle squeeze. And I told you I was ready to take the ass because that's when I confronted my dad. Okay, for hollering at me the way that he did, like he had carte blanche to call my name.
So what you do? Like, can I talk to you for a minute?
What?
You know what you told him?
What are you talking about?
Did you say, hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
I didn't Michael Jackson here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No.
Jackson.
That wasn't no motherfucking Michael Jackson bullshit. That motherfucker called my name the way he did, like he had some kind of authority on me.
Oh, you did the Eddie Murphy. You swallowed like.
And I turned, and because my next, I was like, who in the fuck are you calling like that? And don't you ever call my motherfucking name like that, nigga. You have not earned the right to call my name. Who in the fuck are you calling like that?
I was like, or what?
Oh, what? And that. I balled my fist up and I said, and I had to tell myself, this is your daddy. And I said,
hey.
And that's when we walked to the back of the alley. And that was when I just dumped on him and I didn't give a fuck. And he was, he started crying and shit because he was drunk. He cried and he wanted to give me a hug. And I threw him off and I said, no, don't touch me, motherfucker. Don't touch me. But then
you was crying like a girl.
No, I wasn't crying.
Don't touch me. I've never heard that from
anybody. Niece, what's happening?
Anywho.
Hey, Niece here.
Okay.
Hey, Nick.
Okay, hey, baby.
What's happening? What's happening?
She's watching us on LinkedIn. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Next week the verdict come out, Niece. I've been keeping up with the show. If you want a non-celebrity to weigh in, I'm available.
Okay. So and that was that. But then it was in that conversation that I actually heard his story. And I heard him and what the difficulties that he had growing up or whatever. And then I started to hear some of my similarities with him, and I still at that time did not want to acknowledge the fact that, damn, I guess I am like him in a certain way. I didn't want to acknowledge that came later. Okay. That came later when I had to accept the fact that I don't care what this is still my daddy and his DNA is a part of me. God damn it.
But didn't I say earlier in the show how it is when things are one-sided?
One-sided, yeah.
You're growing up one side, so your brain has been washed of all the good. And now you got this one-sided trash going on that ain't even real. It's
right. For me, I had good moments that came up because I got memories. And being the firstborn, I had what my siblings didn't have. Okay. So with me trying to be the peacemaker and trying to get daddy to come and see the kids and this, that, and the other, because I knew
you were able to convey some of that.
Right. And that there was what I was holding on to. And I know. And that is the problem with one of them. And that was me trying to forge my family because I still wanted to be the after school special where at the end of the day,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
11, 12, right. I wanted to be that to where at the end of the day, the family was still a family. Daddy was still a part, even if the parents were divorced and carrying on. But I still wanted that kind of thing. But I had to accept the fact.
I'm not in the struggle and fight I had with that same spirit.
Right.
Trying to raise a stepchild that was trying to push me out and bring the biological trash piece of cocker doodle
Ooh.
Okay, let me ask this right quick. Understand, even in this day and age, it still takes a village to raise a child, correct?
Correct, supposedly.
So how much of the problem comes from the village?
The village is no longer.
Because you go to your house with your single parent and everything is everything, but then you go to school and you talk to your peers and they discuss what go on in their household and how they deal with their mama and them.
Right.
And then you come home thinking, oh, that's the way to go. Ooh. Look at mama, you
Let me give you an example of that. And my brother had to learn this. This is my brother's story. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm 6'4". Okay. My brother grew to be 6'6" and a half. Okay. He was the athletic one
in that house.
Okay. So my brother swole, he liked to lift weights and shit. He was the sports one, right? Well, he wanted to be in the streets. Okay. And his friends got his ass jacked. Yeah. That tickled you, huh? The streets. Okay.
That reminds me of the clip.
Okay. Because he's so tall or whatever, they and big, man, you still let your mama tell you what to do with this, that, and the other? And just so happens, my brother came home with his friends and thought he was going to walk in. We were staying on Delaware, 1986 Delaware. He thought he was going to walk in that motherfucking house and act as if Essie Lorraine was not his mother.
It was at this moment.
Okay. And he come up in there and said something, and my mother said, who the hell you think you're talking to? And he said, I'm talking to you. And the next thing you know, my mother's 6 feet. She took this 6'6" motherfucker and grabbed him by his throat and hemmed him up on the fucking wall.
The power of parenting.
In front of his friends. And she told him, if you ever walk in this house and think that you're going to talk to me like that again, you got another thing coming. Because the next time I'm going to squeeze, I'll crush your motherfucking throat. Sent my brother to the basement. He hid for a week in the basement. Because he had never made my mother that mad. But it was his friends had a different tune. It was like, oh no, we can't fuck with your mama. You got it. Now, what you said about the village, when the village has become the villain, the village is the villain now. It used to be where everybody looked after the kids. Y'all heard we said this on the show all the time. Listen, the streets were the streets, okay? But it was organized crime. They didn't recruit if you were not. They wanted you to be better than that. Hell, it's in the Mac, it's in all the dope movies. You go get your education. No, Goldie, I want to be like you. No, you want to be better than me.
Right.
It was always that. You know, oh, Goldie, can I have somebody? What you get on your report card?
Right.
Yeah, it was that. The reinforcement. Okay. That is what we lost all of that when the crack came into the world.
Now the man run this package.
Right. Okay. Because now it was quick money. We know the kids ain't gonna go down for no time or whatever. They don't know what the hell they doing. They just doing what Mr. Smith and Mr. Joseph said do. So it's an even exchange, right? They made a little money, little hustle. Let me show you how to get your hustle on, player. No man, what's up, man? It's all of that. Okay. So now you can't. I don't want you over there. Don't you go outside no more. Mama got to work, and she working 2 jobs. You ain't supposed to be outside, but what you do, you got enticed because all you trying to do is make a little money because you can't get the shoes because mama said we can't afford the shoes. Okay, so now what? So now when the village was supposed to be making sure didn't nobody come kick in the damn door because Miss Smith or Mr. Jones had mama's work number, Okay, that we stopped that. We don't even know our neighbors. Listen, I've been living in my apartment complex for 17 years. I can't tell you who live over there outside of Miss Kelly and Amy that live above me. I can't tell you the names of these folks over here. Why? Because no, we have got to the point now we don't want nobody in our business. We don't want, and God help us, honey. You don't touch my child. I know you. We come from the era where shit. If you did something wrong, honey, everybody beat your ass. And then you got another ass whooping when your parents got home, because if you came from a 2-parent household, your mama beat your ass because you got an embarrassment, embarrassed the family. Okay. And you want a cold? Yeah. Okay. And then if you lived in a 2-parent household, your daddy came home and you got your ass whipped by your daddy because this shouldn't have got to me. Okay. And
then to add on to it, once all that happened, then they called grandma a phone call for you, and then grandma put it in it. Why you do that, baby?
Right.
You know you was wrong, baby. And all the time that hurt more than the butt whooping.
Oh God, well didn't that when your grandmama had to come and tell you was wrong, and I'm disappointed.
I'm so disappointed in you.
Oh God. Those were
nice, baby.
Oh my God, they just cut so deep.
I'm sorry, Grandma.
I'm so disappointed in you. Oh my God, wait a minute. I got Jesus. Oh Lord have mercy. No, that's nowhere near cute. But that's part of what it is. Okay.
Now, transversely, think about today.
Right, when we can't.
With our third parent, and you go on TikTok, and some of the most viewed videos be them videos where watch this kid cuss out the mama.
Either the mama, the kids cussing out their mamas, or they fighting with their mamas. What was the one? Wait a minute, the one where the boys and stuff jumped on the grandmama. Baby, I tried to jump through the screen on that one. I wanted to kick them kids' ass. And what it was the granddaughter. No, it was the daughter. She fighting the mama, and the mama was tagging her back, and then her kids jumped in, talking about, you don't be hitting my mama, and slammed them grandmama. I said, what the fuck is this? Baby, I lost my mind. Okay.
It's called respect, and it's gone.
And it's always gone. We lost that a long time ago because
that's why grandma tried to reason with us work, Tracy, because back then we respected grandma. It's hard to respect grandma when grandma ain't but 38 her damn self.
And out twerking. Okay. Was she out there twerking, trying to twerk with a 15-year-old granddaughter?
That
I still got it.
That
okay. And just no, and then not so, and it's not so much that she's able to twerk. The thing of it is that bitch, you doing this in front of kids. You're not at the adult party. Listen, in the 70s, I remember, child, and I've told y'all this story before. What was the song that was the hot little song? Was it The Freak? Is that what had just come out? Freak Out. No. It was Freak Out. And wait, was it not push in the bush? Yeah, it might have been that one too.
Oh, not push in the bush.
Push in the bush, baby. Listen.
Oh, suck it now.
The adults, they kicked us out the house. Do you hear me? My mother kicked all 8 of us out the house. It was 4 and 4 because we were all living in the same house. Desiree and her 3, me, they kicked us out the motherfucking house and locked the door. Because they wanted to have a little dance party. Right? My stupid ass, I'm sitting up there, I'm at the window because they left the window open, but they closed the curtains.
Angela, I want to do something freaky to you.
You know, but we got put out the house so that they could do their little party dance, the freak dance, and carrying on that they were doing.
Don't come down this basement.
Not the red parties and the blue light parties, okay?
Yeah, when the blue light came on, you know what time it was.
It was. Okay. So when we did all that time, that's what that was for us, you know. But we don't have that anymore because the number one, times have changed. Number two, we're the grandparents.
Mm.
Okay, we are the grandparents.
We are the elders, exactly.
So now this is our generation now. Okay, that's going through whatever we're going through. Okay, and having to tell our stories. Okay, understanding what it is to be a parent, what it means to be an absentee parent. Because it wasn't like, and I say absentee because I wasn't living in the same house with you. Okay, I've always provided for you. There was no lacking anything, but I wasn't in the house. Okay, so that made the dynamics different.
Right.
You know, because now if I'm not there to give you some sense of balance, okay, then all you have is what everybody else is talking about. I'm a Spitfire, or I'm a poppy in here and there, you know, and that doesn't give you the time to settle the roots, you know. So along with that comes everything else that does, you know. You got negativity here, you got positivity here, but it's not as loud as the negativity. You know what I'm saying? But then you got, when it all comes together, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know this. And then now I got to reconstruct my mind. I had to do that with my daddy.
Mm.
You know, I knew what I heard, and then I knew what he said, and then understanding his story with my grandfather, because he and my grandfather were not, they were not all that.
Mm.
Okay. So it's like, oh, shit. So here you are, a young man wanting the love and respect from your father, who cussed you out because he was color struck because you got a dark-skinned woman. Which means that in the eyes of your father, you're a failure. You understand? Do you understand how heavy that is on a man?
That's deep. That
my own daddy sees me as a fucking failure? Do you realize how heavy that is? Now I work in my life to prove to you I'm not what you say I am. All right? Then I had to learn how to shed all of that to become my own man. So a lot of that abusive shit that he was going through with my mama, it wasn't necessarily him lashing out at mama that I get this now. Okay? It was him lashing out at the system. It's just that mama was there because he's the head of the house and what I say goes and this, that, and other. Plus, watching my grandfather, I'm sure he whooped on my grandmother because that's what men do. You know, they're from that generation. You know, it's all of that. And so now we grew up, and now for us, you know, we have done the my kids and my friends thing 2.0, and then our kids that did a 3.5 because of social media. You know, we
right. Because I don't
that
right.
Shit. Okay,
it makes no sense to me that suddenly now, in the lives of our children, we want to be in the island of relevancy. We want to be seen as the cool parent.
Right.
Right. You and my child, we relate because we understand one another. When that should never be the case.
Okay.
Your child's supposed to be working to become you, not the other way around.
Oh, wait a minute. The child should be working to become you, not the other way around. You becoming the child.
You just dropped the ball,
baby. If you,
I think the kids say I just clocked that T. I think that's what that's called.
That's the end of the damn show. The fuck it. We can't do nothing else with that. Okay.
Well,
that's it. We can't do nothing else with that because that right there is it. And in that, like I said earlier, we always want the child to be better than the parent.
Isn't that what the spiritual growth supposed to be?
Right.
As it turns, everything that we grasp from our ancestors forward we're supposed to turn over to them.
Right.
Everything they grab from us, they turn over to the next.
To the next,
so
right.
What they take from you or what you took from them, added with your own personality,
right,
makes you your own
person. Right.
So the same thing is to go with them. Not them doggone thinking they like, how the hell, nigga, you just got here.
Right.
I've been your age. You ain't never been mine.
You ain't never been mine. Right.
Let us think of the great Michael Jackson, who died this week 16 years ago.
Right. It's been 16 years.
One of the major things that we saw in his life was that he was never allowed the opportunity to be a child.
Right.
That he grew up in an adult world as a child. And from that point on, some of the things that went on in his life was that. In the end, people, it's two levels, okay? It's adulthood, it's childhood. When it's this, that ain't gonna work.
Oh, now how about that? And it's not to say that we're supposed to not be in touch with that inner child.
Right. Because we all have been.
We know how to prioritize it.
Absolutely.
We have to prioritize it because the inner child is still there to give us the relief. That's how when you get into your hobby. That's for those who still like to color or draw, whatever your hobby is. Okay, if you like watching cartoons and being a little silly, that there is to break the monotony. But you also, but shit done and take care of business. Time to take care of business. You know, we got time for all this pussyfooting around and this, that, and the other. Time to take care of business. You know. And a lot of times that there is lost in the translation because we so busy talking about the hustle and the grind to where we have no purpose for it. Outside of the superficial. Okay, and try to get them on some superficial shit. And then it just fucks up the whole game.
As so the like great G.I. Joe once said, no one's half the battle.
See. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we're going to let you guys get into your Friday evening. It's raining here in Georgia, honey. So if y'all trying to go out, y'all be careful and be safe. For those of you in other parts of the country and other parts of the world, honey, we love you, we thank you. But I'm telling you right now, you may finish all of your crumpets, my darling, because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea, darling. With Big Meat and the Minister Lavelle, honey, the big guy ally over there. And from the family right here, this is our family, honey, from our brother station over there, the Nighthawk Network, honey. Okay, that there is the DJ E-Buck, honey. Y'all can listen to him over here on WTEA Radio and over there on WAHR Radio.
New episodes coming soon. Nighthawk Network Radio will be back next month, good people.
All right. So having said all that, darling, listen, if you love us like you do, honey, tell your family, tell your friends, tell everybody to come over here and like, subscribe, to share on whichever platform you're watching us on, or go to all of them, honey, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, okay? But if you hate us, if you hate what I said, you don't like the fact that I talk about dick and ass and carrying on as a gay man, or whatever the case may be, if you hate it, you could tell all of your motherfucking enemies to come over here, like, subscribe, and to share. Because I want you to understand one important thing, honey, that everything that we do over here, honey, at 3 the Hard Way, the syndicate, I like saying. Just like that. In any way, shape, style, form, and or fashion, will move forward. So on that note, honey, I'm going to bid you guys adieu. And thank you guys for coming in and sharing your evening with us. And we're going to go from there. Okay, here we go. Y'all know I'm so slow with these damn closing credits. It's a crime. Okay. But in any event, honey, thank you guys. And scene.